Good afternoon, YouTube. I've had a few videos so far on this car, but I haven't really actually introduced it as itself without a special goal in mind. So I thought I'd just do an overall view of the car and where we're at with it. It's a 59 Mercury Monterey Convertible, one of 4,426 built. This one was built in the St. Louis plant in June of '59, and it was originally a Minnesota car. Best as I can tell, sold new in Minneapolis, and it lived there up until 2019. I bought it at an auction. It had been basically a barn find that the owner he had passed away, and his estate was liquidating all of the cars. It was originally white with a red and white interior, and I've gone with the charcoal gray factory color option. So it's been a 2.5-year restoration so far, quite an undertaking, and we're nearing the end. We're finally able to drive it, and hopefully we'll be able to take it on the road fairly soon when the weather is better. It's almost freezing here in northern Michigan today, so that's better than it's been in recent days. So I guess continuing around here, all the chrome is either new old stock or redone. Luckily, I was able to find the bumpers used. They were re-chromed in the 80s and stored away and never installed, and so they were usable and pretty nice still. So I apologize for the fingerprints and stuff on here. It's definitely not cleaned up yet, but we're still actively working on it. It's a work in progress. So I have new ornaments for here yet that I just picked up, and we'll have to put those on. These are a little bit on the rough side, but they're the originals. I do have factory correct or dealer correct installed mirrors on here. This one is just a standard mirror. The driver's side is a remote mirror. I went with the two-tone Canton Red for the accent. Technically, accents were not available on convertibles. They were on hardtops and sedans, but I didn't want to have it all one color. So I like the two-tone look, and it'll really help tie in the red and white interior. On the back here, you'll see two different dealer badges. Mitchell & Boyer out of Minneapolis was a big Lincoln Mercury dealer in Minneapolis, and I was lucky enough to find someone that had a car they were parting out with this badge. It needs to be redone, but it exists, and interestingly, the holes were there, and I didn't have a badge for it. There was a dealer sticker for a Ford dealer over top of them, but I believe this was probably originally sold at that dealer. With so few convertibles sold, I find it unlikely that a small town dealer would have ordered it, so it was probably from there. And then the plate surround down there is from Mulligan Lincoln Mercury in Dearborn, Michigan, and they were a large dealer that sold cars to a lot of Ford employees. One thing that I'll point out are these bullet things on the taillights. They're unique to the Monterey and the Montclair, but they often go missing. They were glued on with an adhesive that tends to come off, and it just leaves a fully red lens, and so they're hard to find with those still on there. This car, I've added a couple little things. I added the wheel arch moldings here from Park Lane or Montclair, just to dress it out a little bit. I'm still on the hunt for rocker moldings. We've got the convertible top frame rebuilt, but there's no top yet. Hasn't been installed yet. And we're still waiting on interior. It's currently at the upholstery shop, and he's working on it. So the dash has been all redone. Originally it was red like this. I added the optional the speed minder feature on the speedometer. That was a factory option and fairly rare. And I've also added a Montclair and Park Lane glove box door, and also the Town and Country optional radio. And the clock was an option as well, which I added. This car originally did not have a clock, but it had the standard AM radio. And it's a power brake car and power steering. Apparently all the convertibles came with both of those options as standard. All new convertible top hardware. We'll take a look under the hood. We've added the optional windshield washer feature. Under here is a 383 cubic inch MEL V8. The MEL was part of the 383 was part of the MEL series that included the 430 and 462 used in the Lincolns of the 60s. So many people may be familiar with it for that. But the 383 itself was only a Mercury engine, only used in 58 to 60. So I have the original air cleaner with the extension piece on here for the heat riser. Did a later Lincoln top for the power steering reservoir with a dipstick. Original master cylinder and brake booster has been rebuilt. Original date coded. The date code was cool, but I've had bad luck with aftermarket ones, replacement ones in the past, and I thought I'll stick with the original if it can be rebuilt, if it's better quality. Record radiator. The block was, the engine was frozen when I bought it. It was, they basically heated it up and were able to beat the pistons out to get them out. I tried everything I could to free it up, and it just was not working. So they ended up having to bore it 60 over. It was an original bore. So it's basically the max it can go, but it's plenty usable the way it is. Here we've got the optional Trico windshield washer bottle and pump system. This battery is not correct for the car. I have the original style on order. This is just in here temporarily. There's a 4-barrel Edelbrock 1406 underneath the air cleaner. And then behind it is a 3-speed multi-drive transmission. It was optional for Mercury. It was also used in Lincolns. The multi-drive basically gives you the option to use all 3 gears automatically and start in first or start in second, whereas the standard automatic would start in second regardless unless you drop it manually into low. So this car originally had the standard automatic, and we changed it to the new one. Moving now to the back of the car, thought I'd show you guys the trunk. This is all the original pattern. I used the original trunk mat from my other car as patterns, and I basically had the entire mat set completely replicated. So they did a fantastic job. It's all a blue pattern material, and the floor is Vertex and the sideboards are cardboard. And this blue houndstooth, it is a very close match to the original. And the jack parts are all fully restored as well. And then best of all, I have an original or replicated jacking instruction decal on there as well. So that's it. It's going to be a really nice driving car when it's done, and my goal with it is certainly to drive it. I didn't do this to park it somewhere and show it off. It's definitely going to be something I drive and enjoy. From having the other one, my sedan that I really haven't featured on this channel yet, but I will. I really have come to appreciate driving these cars a lot. They're a lot of fun, and it's a different experience. So I certainly plan to do the same and more with this car. So like and subscribe, and keep on following for future videos of more things that we go through to get this car completely restored and back on the road. So till next time, thanks.